And just when you think that January could actually end on a relatively high note in terms of temperature, it drops 10 degrees. For those of you keeping score at home, it went from 4 to -6. -6. Seriously, after I worked out, I was like, did I even break a sweat? I mean, it was so cold, I could actually, feel how cold it was through my hands. And I was wearing gloves. My hands were actually starting to hurt a little bit. That's how cold it was. Really? You can't even have, the last day of January end, on a decent note or something? And to make matters worse, it's going to be bad tomorrow, too. Unbelievable. I mean, I get why it's cold, because, if you were to go outside right now, you'd notice there's not a cloud in the sky, which ordinarily is actually quite nice. That means we're going to have a pretty nice, sunny, maybe partly cloudy day. But at the same time, the clouds protect from the cold, so without the clouds, it's actually much colder than it really should be. I'm not looking forward to that at all. But, hey, there is one thing to look forward to today. We got a new episode of Hot Ones, because it's Thursday. Woo! Happy Thursday, everybody. Yeah, actually, it's so cold right now, I really could use some hot chicken wings. Hopefully. That would be an interesting experiment to try, have something like one of the hot sauces from Hot Ones, and then immediately go out into the cold to see how bad, to see if there really is a contrast. I have to, sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I did go to bed a little later than normal last night because I watched The Masked Singer, but I'll be getting to that in a moment. So yeah, it is the last day of January, which I gotta say, it's hard to say if this January as a whole is better than last year. I mean, one thing this January does have better than last January is the fact that the Eagles are not in the Super Bowl. So there's that. But I really gotta think about that. Holy cow. Yeah, so how about we get into spoilers right now, 3 minutes? Okay, so, the Masked Singer was on last night, which is awesome, and they actually did something, really different. The first 2 weeks, if you were in, a specific group of celebrities, or, celebrities who are wearing costumes or whatever, you were in that group, but they actually decided to mix it up a little bit. So, the celebrity contestants that ended up being on the show were the rabbit, the alien, the lion, and the unicorn. So, a guy and 3 women is all you really get. And, once again, all the performances were really cool. Really good. The rabbit was fun. The alien, the lion, the unicorn, they were all great. Although, one thing I really did like what the unicorn did is, and I didn't notice this until last night, the unicorn actually had, long white hair on the costume. But, last night, if you pay attention, they actually decided to braid that hair. It's fake costume hair, and they braided it. That's actually a really nice attention to detail. I was actually quite impressed by that. I mean, most people would sort of leave a costume like that the way it is, but nope. Actually, excuse me, it actually ended up being kind of cool looking. So, now we get into where who ended up getting eliminated, and it was sadly, actually, before I get into that, one thing they also started doing is, not only are they talking about more clues as to who they are, but they're also talking about, they're also doing something called physical clues. like it's actually an item or something along those lines, or an object that that relates to who that celebrity is in some way, shape, or form. Like, for example, the rabbit last night had a magician's kit, or in the case of the unicorn who ended up getting eliminated last night, was a typewriter, which, again, yes, the unicorn was the one who did in fact get eliminated. But I really gotta tell you what I thought about who it was before it ended up showing who it was. Like, the first clue that stuck out to me the most was Hollywood royalty. And immediately, two people came to mind. And they were Laura Dern and Drew Barrymore. Because, they come from famous families. Drew Barrymore's grandfather was John Barrymore, and he actually portrayed the original Dr. Jekyll in the old Universal monster movies. Come to think of it, I think he may have gotten nominated for an Oscar for that movie way back in the day. So, yeah, that was really cool. And, Laura Dern, related to Bruce Dern. So, and even though neither of them is known for singing, another clue they had is, well, they mentioned that none of them don't really, sing very much, and they're sort of, it's not really their forte, but, that's why I thought it was who it was. And then, and this is where it actually gets really funny. Last night, again, I mentioned they started doing physical clues. Again, an item or an object that, relates to them in some way. And before they did that, the unicorn also gave up more clues, like the fact that, the unicorn is a mom, has children or whatever, and, it dabbles in, magic, and it is a unicorn. And then the typewriter comes out. I'm like, that is J.K. Rowling. I'm not kidding. I thought the unicorn was J.K. Rowling. Think about it. Magic, a typewriter, because, authors usually type via a typewriter. And, again, I never read the Harry Potter books, but I watched the movies, so I know for a fact, at least, they talked about unicorns. And, again, it really did make sense. But, no. It actually ended up being Tori Spelling. So, I was completely thrown off. Although, Ken Jeong actually got it right. He actually got it right. Which, actually, he redeemed himself from a week ago because he didn't guess it was Margaret Cho, who was the poodle a week ago. So, yeah. It was actually quite a really good performance from Tori Spelling, and a little emotional. Because, Tori Spelling is actually kind of a shy person, and so, on stage she was able to, do stuff like this in costume, and, for a final performance, she nailed it. She really did. Tori Spelling is actually a really good singer. Not bad. I'd listen to her again. Maybe they'll be able to do something like that in, the finale of The Masked Singer. I don't know. And now spoiler stuff. So, 6 minutes of spoilers, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. And, again, even though I spoiled it for you, maybe you can... at this point, the clips are already on YouTube. You could probably just find last night's episode online, watch the performances then, see if you can figure out, who it is. But I am really digging this show. 12 celebrity guests. Excuse me. Yeah, again, 12 celebrity guests. One gets eliminated a week, so 3 months. So we're going to be able to watch it well into the very end of March or even April, which I really hope this show gets renewed for a second season because it really is a lot of fun to watch. But, again, look at the clues yourself. See if maybe you can figure out something that I simply couldn't. You never know. So those are my thoughts on last night, and it's a great way to kick off the second half of the week as we get that. I say second half of the week. I mean, let's be honest. We all include Sunday as part of the weekend. The real grind is essentially like Monday, mostly Tuesday, and like some of Wednesday. And then like after you get to Wednesday, it's almost completely smooth sailing from here. At least, I mean, it helps for me because throughout the week I find things that I like and therefore watch. That's why I really like Hot Ones, because, it happens on Thursday. The week is almost over. And, I mean, even though I don't really partake in this activity, the traditional Thirsty Thursday, they have that. Holy cow, maybe that's maybe that's the subliminal messaging from Hot Ones. You have hot stuff and you immediately want to drink a lot of stuff. And actually, alcohol is a great way to mitigate some of the pain you get from eating hot food. So, maybe there's some subliminal messaging in there? Or maybe I'm just sort of overthinking something that's not even there. But, again, last week, Season 8 started off, and they started off with Gordon Ramsay, of all people, which is awesome. Like, really awesome. Although, I am a little worried because, like, people have wanted Gordon Ramsay from, like, the very beginning. And now that it's happened, I'm worried that Hot Ones has officially jumped the shark. Oh. You guys don't know what jump the shark means. Well, jump the shark is a term that goes back all the way to when a show called Happy Days was on the air. In which, at the time, the show's ratings were starting to decline. So they actually made a scene in Happy Days where a Henry Winkler, a.k.a. the Fonz, jumped over a shark via water skiing. After that scene, ratings for the show, skyrocketed. It was great. It was exactly what the network wanted. Unfortunately, it worked so well that there was no way they could ever possibly hope to top it. So that's the one thing I'm worried about with Hot Ones as well, because again, you had Gordon Ramsay, which is the one guy that outside of Bill Burr, that's what everybody wanted, and now you got him. So what does that mean for the rest of the show? Is it going to get, it's not a bad show by any stretch of the imagination. There really isn't anything that could make it horrifyingly bad outside of straight up canceling the show right now. But then that really wouldn't make it bad. That would just make the show, canceled. The point is, I'm worried that because they finally had Gordon Ramsay on the show, where do you go from here? Because, again, outside of the rare occasion that they actually show off, before the season starts who the guest is, or if it's a special guest coming on a week later, we don't know who's going to be the next guest at all. I'm not going to know who the guest is until 11 o'clock Eastern time this morning. So, Sean Evans, the host of Hot Ones, did say that, I'll be darned. He didn't actually say that, but again, I don't curse making these videos. If the guests aren't as fiery as the sauces we have, so maybe we'll have something good. I'm sure we're gonna have somebody good. Whether I know about the celebrity or not, don't let the fact that some random guy who makes videos every day stop that person from being a famous celebrity. Oh, well, that's just me. Anyway, really don't have much to say right now other than I'm going to now bundle up under a bunch of hoodies and blankets and sweats and all sorts of stuff to stay warm today because 6 degrees of... Actually, negative 6 degrees, I should say, is very, very cold. And I do not like that. Not at all. So, like, favorite, share, and hit that subscribe button. I could really use support on YouTube. Follow me on the social media platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr. And as always, I'm very humbled that I made this video for all of you guys to watch and enjoy for today. I'm hopeful we all have a wonderful Thursday. And remember, if any of you guys ever want to talk or chat with me, I'm always going to be here to lend an ear. And I'll always most certainly have your back. Take care.